Minimalism has only advantages, right? Unfortunately, I have to burst that bubble for you today. That's not true. Not true. There are things I regret after becoming a minimalist, and they're probably not the things you might expect. Stay tuned to find out what I mean. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmine and I'm a singer-songwriter. I've been living a minimalist lifestyle for more than 6 years now. Minimalism has changed my life in many ways, though not always for the better. The beginning. Before we talk about the problems, let me first share how I even discovered minimalism. I used to be the complete opposite of a minimalist. I come from a family where money was a real issue in the past. When I finally started earning my own money, I spent it lavishly. I'll never forget the pair of boots I bought with my first paycheck. I spent a whopping 400 euros on them. I would never do that today. I wore those boots maybe 5 times. They were simply too uncomfortable for everyday wear. And one day, when the basement of our rental apartment flooded, they were ruined anyway. Shopping. I used to splurge a lot and buy expensive clothes every month. Over time I realized I felt less and less joy in doing so. The rush of happiness I initially felt after a purchase became shorter and shorter. Meanwhile, my wardrobe kept filling up with more and more items. That was over 10 years ago and I still own some things from that time. I'm not one of those minimalists who decluttered 80% or even more of their possessions. If I had to estimate, I'd say I've reduced about 40 and aim to get to 60 or maybe 65%. And this is where we hit the first problem with minimalism. The dilemma. I try to declutter daily. The question is always, where should it go? My grandparents kept everything. I think the war left a deep impression on them and they never completely got over it, even though they were just children back then. My grandmother was a seamstress and mended everything. She saved every scrap of fabric because it might someday be useful as lining for another garment. That's why I know how to darn socks, by the way. I can darn socks, but I don't do it anymore because I find it tedious. But theoretically, I could. I internalized this behavior for a long time. I saved every piece of fabric, thinking I might need it someday. Thankfully, I've let go of that habit. But the question of what to do with things remains. Throwing things away feels wrong to me. I think about how someone invested time, for example, to sew a piece of clothing. And we already live in such a throwaway society. For years, I tried selling things instead, but the truth is, it takes a lot of patience. Sell or toss? When I think about the time I invested in selling our kids' clothes and how little I earned in the end, I have to admit it's not worth it. Especially with toys and children's clothing, so much accumulates. It was exhausting and still is because we haven't gotten rid of everything yet. I still support selling or passing on items when possible, but I weigh my options much more carefully now than I used to. That's not all I regret. But before I tell you the rest, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything in the future, and together we'll simplify your life. Now, let's continue. The truth about social pressure. If you watch a few minimalism videos, you quickly get the impression that minimalism is the solution to everything, but it's not. One aspect I hadn't considered at all is social pressure. Generally, I'm very content with what I have. Sure, I want a few things like tech equipment for my YouTube channel or the occasional piece of furniture, but overall I'm doing fine and don't need much. However, this leads to a problem. Whether it's Christmas or a birthday, people give me gifts to make me happy, which is so kind, but in 80 to 90% of cases, I don't actually want anything. I've honestly thought about telling people I don't need anything, but I don't want to hurt anyone or spoil their joy. So, as you can see, minimalism also has its downsides. Dogma. Sometimes people with extreme views comment on my channel. Recently, someone wrote that I'm not a real minimalist. I'll be honest with you, I don't care. Minimalism has made my life simpler in many ways and still does. That's why I run this channel with full conviction, and I believe that this lifestyle can help many people. But it should not be treated like a religion. Minimalism is meant to simplify your life, not replace your values or hobbies. I hope this video gives you an honest perspective on the topic without discouraging you from embracing this wonderful lifestyle. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and most importantly, come back next time. I'd love to see you again. Until then, all the best, Jasmine.